Hello to all you guys out there in YouTube land. Yes, it's me, DR, on the morning walk to work. Morning walk. Anyway, I've actually got an interesting topic for today. Well, interesting for me anyway. Yesterday, I ended up getting into a bit of a discussion with a couple of people. So it all started when one of my friends asked me, "What does atheism mean?" So, and please feel free to correct me in the comments at any stage down below. So I turned around and I said, atheism for me is a direct response to a theist claim. Theists turn around and say there is a God, a deity, and atheism is simply the rejection of that claim. So I said that, which is different from agnosticism. And one of my other friends brought up agnosticism and said, well, no, I don't believe that. I think atheism is the belief there's no God. I said, well, that's a claim in itself. And I tried to use the example of a court case that lots of people have used, so I'll kind of paraphrase it. That within a court case there's innocent and there's guilty. But there's also not guilty, because someone is innocent, there's the claim they're innocent. But with not guilty, you're saying there is insufficient evidence. So within not guilty, that takes you all the way to innocence within the same gradient. Hopefully I'm making sense with this. It is the morning walk. So what you have is varying degrees within, but essentially innocent is almost the same as saying not guilty. It's just how certain you are about that person's innocence. So for example, when you say not guilty, what you're actually saying is there's insufficient evidence to say this person's committed a crime, but I don't necessarily think they're innocent. And then you get to innocence, you're making a firm thing, I believe that person is innocent. So, if we take this to atheism and theism, theists make a claim. Now if an atheist says there is no God, to a certain degree, well, they are making a claim, but they have to back that up with evidence. Now, if the theist can provide sufficient evidence that can be tested, either logically or actually, so for example, if you take Yahweh being omnipotent, omnipresent, all the omnis, we can logically kind of test that and say, well, that I don't necessarily think that's true. The whole argument, can God make a boulder too heavy that he can't lift? Then he's not omnipotent. So you kind of have the logical tests. So you can kind of say with a degree of certainty, actually, I don't think Yahweh exists. And here's some evidence to back it up. If someone accepts that evidence or rejects that evidence, that's their right to be able to do, but at least you can back up your claim. So for me, atheism is that direct answer to theism. And I might be making a jumbled mess of it, so please correct me if you think I'm wrong. Whereas agnosticism is, what do I actually believe? And the point I made was that because there are so many gods, virtually infinite, someone could think of something, we all by default are agnostic about what we actually believe. So we're not talking about the rejection of a claim here, we're talking about in general. So, and that's always been my perception. It could be wrong, but because there's so many, I'm technically agnostic about every one of them until I actually look at those claims, because I don't have enough evidence to make that assumption. So I'm literally like, I don't know. I'm agnostic and technically about leprechauns. I don't know. They could, they couldn't. I haven't really tested it. I don't really know. Until someone else tested it, and I believe or disbelieve their evidence, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I haven't made a claim, I haven't really thought about it. And then the response I got from one of my friends was, that's wrong. Essentially, that's wrong. And you know what? The reason they gave for me being wrong, I was just asserting. So at that point, I tried to kind of go through and rephrase my points. And then, guess what they said again? You're just asserting. And that, because they didn't bring any evidence to the table, I really had no discussion. So I stopped. Because I thought there's no kind of point here. I've put together claims, I've put together some evidence, I've given you some reasons for my beliefs, what do I believe and why might be incorrect, but it was like, I don't believe you because you're just asserting, but there was nothing else to it. So I kind of just went, this ain't going nowhere. Is that familiar for you guys, if you had kind of discussions like that? Because to me, it's like amazing how many people are confused about atheism and agnosticism. They somehow think that a theist is on one side, an atheist is on the other side, and then agnosticism is in the middle. But then forget the gradients of theism and atheism. They kind of forget that actually religious people are all sort of atheist about other religions. So a Jew doesn't believe in Hinduism. So you can't, if you're going to be as cut and dry as this person doesn't believe, then you really are trying to group too many people together, in my opinion anyway. And if you make that claim, you really have to provide evidence, which is the same for both sides. And, you know, trying to be balanced, and people are like, no. So it's really weird how many people think that atheism and agnosticism are like asking the same question. They think that atheism is about a belief. I hate that. It was like having a conversation with a theist who didn't want to be a theist. It was really weird, and it was like someone going, I don't want to be an atheist, so I'm going to call myself an agnostic. And to a certain degree, I don't really care along the gradients, but at least understand what you're believing. It kind of ties back into the last video I made, where people don't get what they believe. They don't understand it because they don't look into it. They see a few videos, they see some things on BBC, and then they think, oh, that's the opinion. Whereas actually, they should understand what they think and be able to back it up, but they don't. And that's really, really frustrating. Anyway, this is DR, going light and dark, saying, put any comments in the description bar, let me know what you think. Long video this morning, apologies for that, as I try and cross the road. And this is DR saying peace out, and have a safe journey, wherever you're heading, yeah.